Hello my hungry friends! Today we're making pierogi leniwe, lazy pierogi. Welcome back friends! This is Polish Kitchen. My name is Anna and here I teach you how to make Polish food. But you don't actually have to be Polish to eat it. You just have to like us Poles. Today I'm making... Why are you laughing at me?
Because I like your silliness.
Today we are making a dish called lazy pierogi. In Polish, pierogi leniwe. And I'm guessing they are called lazy because there's no pinching and there's no stuffing and there's no really rolling out dough. So if I had to guess, this is a version of ruskie pierogi, which are farmer's cheese and potato pierogi made unstuffed. Super easy recipe, but I encourage you to watch through and pay attention because this dough can be tricky. So I have a pound of farmer's cheese, and this is cheese that is made from soured milk or like product. These days it's really hard in America, or I think close to impossible, to get unpasteurized milk, which that's what farmer's cheese is made from originally. So its best way is cow's milk from the cow, strained. Then it would be set on the counter, just covered with a cloth for a few days until it sours, and then it would be heated up and the milk would curdle and create the curdles, and they would be strained, and the thing that is left over is this beautiful cheese. I didn't make mine, I just went to the grocery store and got it. But I do have a recipe for mine in the description below this video. You can click on it and make your own. It's really easy. You don't have to have cow's milk straight from the cow. Just get nice fatty milk. Add buttermilk or any kind of product or dairy that has cultures in it, like plain yogurt or kefir or buttermilk, and let it stand on your counter for a couple days. It's all in the recipe. Then you heat it up and you have this gorgeous farmer's cheese. If you're lucky enough for your grocery store to carry some, just get a pound, and this is how much I have here. So for this recipe I will need the cheese, some flour, and I have 3 eggs here and a little bit of salt. To start, I'm going to transfer my cheese into my large bowl, and I'm going to start with making it in my bowl to mix the cheese with eggs. And then we will transfer it onto our bakery, what do you call this? Pastry board. And I have 3 eggs, so I'm just going to wiggle these around a little bit to break up the yolks. I'm going to add a pinch of salt to my eggs. And eggs go in. And I'll just mix this around a little bit. Nothing big, nothing to write home about. No skills required, just a bowl and a spoon. And then the trick to these is to get to get flour into this, but only about a cup, maybe cup and a half. So this is what I hear a lot from my readers, that they kind of find challenging, because this potentially is able to take a lot of flour because it's very wet. So we have to make sure that we fold our dough instead of kind of kneading. I'm just going to turn my water down. I have it boiling for our dumplings. So the trick is to fold it, which I'll show you how to do, instead of kneading, because if you knead the flour into it, the moisture will just pick up the flour, and you can do that forever. You'll just need pounds and pounds of flour, so we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to do a cup of all-purpose for now. And then I'm just gonna wiggle this around a little bit and let it pick up some of the moisture. Move this out of my way. And it's already becoming dry, so this won't be hard to do. And now that it's a little bit drier, I'm going to transfer it into my board, and you can put it on a just clean surface. It doesn't have to be a board. It doesn't have to be a fancy board like mine. And just like that. And then flour your hands real well. And all we're doing now is just pushing slightly down to just get the flour in there, but don't be squishing it because the wetness will continue. Maybe a little bit more. I added a cup. I'm gonna add probably another half. And just really gently, don't even have to push hard. I'm gonna get a knife to get this off my board a little bit. And just like this, really gently. Knead enough to just kind of get a solid ball, not ball, ball. And like these edges here are getting a little bit more wet. Just get a little bit more flour on your hands and continue. And you're gonna see lumps in the dough, which is fine. We like lumps. Lumps are good. Lumps are the cheese that's in there that didn't just get super squished and mixed in with the flour, which is fine. We will be able to see it in our dough. So this is probably as dry as I want it. Even though it still sticks to my hands, that's okay. I have little crummies around, that's fine. I'm just gonna leave it here. It'll stick to our dough or not. And then I'm gonna take a piece of my dough, flour my surface a little bit more, and you can actually see little speckles of white, which is the farmer's cheese in it. So that's nice, we wanna see that. And now we're just rolling this out. And if it's falling apart, just squish it down. This dough is wet enough to kind of stick together. And you can roll it to as little as you want, but I like them about this big. And then what we do, I'm gonna grab a fork. Then we cut our dumplings into pieces about that big. So this is what, about a couple inch?
Yeah, inch and a half. So.
And you can go bigger. Normally, if you buy this at a restaurant or so, they may be a little bit bigger. Actually, you don't see these at restaurants a lot in Poland, but you will find them at a milk bar. If you go to a milk bar, 100%.
What's a milk bar?
Milk bar is it's kind of a diner, old school diner. I think they started in the 60s or 70s. First, they were serving a lot of products made from milk and flour, like dumplings, and then they slowly, because times were bad, obviously, and there wasn't much meat to be served, and then slowly they introduced meat dishes. But it's just a simple diner where most large cities have them, where you can go and have dinner. Everybody, it's home cooking, lots of dumplings, lots of hearty stews and potatoes and meat, and kasha with meat, or bigos, which is a cabbage dish. So I recommend it if you're visiting Poland. Find one in the city that you're in, and you're gonna have to fire up your translator to see what's on the menu, because they will most likely not have an English menu. All right, rambling on again. So now, if you go to a milk bar and you see these, they'll most likely have these marks on them. And this is from ladies doing this number. So they will push the fork into it to flatten them, and then these kind of square marks will show. So we can gently push those in. Get a little flour on your fork if you need to. This little ladle could have been nicer, I guess. And I'll roll out a little bit more just to show you the technique a little bit. So I'll just move these out of the way here. And again, this is quite wet dough for a dumpling. And the same technique applies to another dumpling called kopytka, which is a potato dumpling. Almost the same, but plus potatoes. And this one we serve, or I serve, and that's how it's, I guess, served in most milk bars, with kind of sweet. They're not really sweet, but they're served with sugar. So again, really gently roll out your dough into kind of a log, and try to keep your dumplings uniform, so then when they're cooking, they have about the same cooking time. And I'm going to go in and push them down a little bit. And there we go. And all there's left is to boil them. Before we continue to boil our dumplings, I have made the batch here, and it's all on my tray here. I'm gonna make the topping, which our topping is gonna be buttered breadcrumbs, which I just absolutely love. And in my pan here, I have nothing. It's just heating. And to it, I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of breadcrumbs. And we're gonna toast these guys first a little bit. And then once they're nice and lightly brown, we're gonna add our butter. And that's just gonna get the breadcrumbs alive a little bit. They've been sitting in the jar for a while, and they could be a little, I don't want to say stale because this doesn't sound good, but you know how they get. Sleepy, they get sleepy. So we're gonna wake them up a little bit, heat them up, and just watch your pan, because once they start browning, it's almost instantaneous. They just start burning. So just keep moving your pan, and I'm using cast iron. So once this sucker heats up, I have no time to react. So I just gotta make sure I'm ready to add butter, and we can probably turn off our stove right away too. What is your experience with leniwe? Are you keen? Are you a dumpling man?
I'm not a dumpling man. I'm not a dumpling man.
Sorry to bug in, but see how the bottom is turning dark already? So just make sure to keep stirring. I would just actually turn this off at this time. And add butter. And 3 tablespoons takes about 3 tablespoons. So just dump that in. If you like yours a little bit more watery or buttery, add a little bit more. And just keep stirring this. And the butter is going to pick up the bits of breadcrumbs, and this is going to be our beautiful topping. And this is good. I'm just going to set this aside here. The butter will keep melting We don't have to do anything more to it. We just want to make sure this is hot. And then comes our boiling water. And this is our bath for our dumplings. So to it, I'm going to add a teaspoon or 2 of salt. We want the water to be salty because it gives us flavor. I added 2 teaspoons. I have about 2 quarts of water here. And I'm just going to add a splash of oil. Just so our dumplings, when they drop into the water, they get nice coating of oil, and then hopefully it'll make them not stick later. I'm sure the questions are coming about freezing these. This is not a huge batch, so I normally eat through this, and as Mark was saying, he's not a huge dumpling fan, but you do like pierogi.
I like pierogi. I was gonna say I like stuffed dumplings, like pierogi, things like that. I don't like the solid,
just like the
like
dough,
a gnocchi style
doughy,
or
yeah.
the doughy style. Those aren't my favorite.
Yeah, I grew up.
Dense.
Yeah, I obviously grew up on this thing. These were actually on our kindergarten menu a lot because kids love them. They're just doughy and there's sugar on top. So why not? So I'm gonna turn my water to low. You don't want this super bubbly. And I'm gonna start plopping these in. And immediately they're gonna go down to the bottom because they're kind of heavy. And we're gonna give them a little bit of time to kind of get solid. I got 2, 4, 6, 7. I'm gonna do one more. You don't want to crowd your pan because they're gonna start sticking together. But once they go in, where's my wooden spoon? Went away. Once they go in, give this water a stir. I'm not even touching the dumplings. I'm just kind of creating a kind of a hurricane.
Vortex.
Yeah, and so the water will get them off the bottom and hopefully not sticking together. Did this die? No, a little bit higher. And then we just let them be. We want for them to kind of float up to the top, and then we'll give them another minute or 2 until they're done. And we want for the center to cook as well as the kind of the outer layers of the dumpling. And if we had the water on kind of rolling boil, they would become soggy on the outside, but still kind of mushy or still kind of raw and not cooked on the inside. So we want them to kind of just be in a bubbly bath. And this is not even bubbling that much. If you look in there, I mean, this is obviously at a boiling temperature, but there's not active bubbles coming up, and they're starting to float to the top. And it's only been a minute and a half of me rambling so far, so. But they look pretty nice already. So I would suggest for you to make them with your kids, because they're gonna like the dough and it's sticking to their hands, and they can make marks on their little dumplings. And they're not, they don't have super like punchy flavor, so they're pretty mild. So the kids are likely to eat them too, I would say, because they're just kind of like doughy pasta. It'll just stick. So they're floating to the top already. And from this time, I would say really another minute. And again, I don't want them being soggy all the way through. I want them to be nice and soft. And I'm ready to eat. Are you ready to eat?
Okay.
We'll give this a taste. And while we're waiting, please remember, subscribe to my channel and like my page. I'm on Facebook and on Instagram, and obviously you're watching me on YouTube. I also have a merch shop on my page, polishfoodkitchen.com. You can buy wonderful aprons like this. You can buy t-shirts and sweatshirts and totes and onesies for the kids that are kind of fun. If you have suggestions for new designs, send me an email. We'll get fun designs out there too if we can. I am ready to pull these. They're floating, they're happy, and it's lunchtime. And I like that the little fork marks are showing, because in the fork marks goes the butter, and goes the sugar, and goes the breadcrumbs. So what we do now, this is hot still. I'm going to take one of the tablespoons I have here. And scoop some on. Oh, the breadcrumbs are obviously, they taste like, they smell like bread, toasted bread, because that's what it is. Can you hand me sugar over there?
Aye.
I forgot it. Watch out, watch out, watch out. And on top would go, old smoky, goes with a sprinkle of sugar. Mine is just darker sugar I get here in Poland, but regular sugar will do. And this is our dumplings, our lazy pierogi. When I broke it up with my fork, there's still some kind of hard firmness to it, so we like that because we don't want them completely mushy. Hello.
Aloha.
I'm 5 again. They're delicious. You can taste the tanginess of the cheese just a little bit in it, but it's not gonna punch you in the face. And if your kids eat it, they won't even know that they're eating farmer's cheese, that they don't even know what it is. They're delicious. I love them. I hope you make them at home. Aren't they good? See? Maybe you are going to be a dumpling man. Maybe. Thanks for watching, guys. Come see us again. Like our video. Come back. Write us a comment. Tell us you love us. It's our fuel. Thanks, guys. See you again. Smacznego. Bye.